Hey you, welcome to The Mess and the Magic. I'm Casey, confidence coach, alignment alchemist, and your host / hype woman for the real, raw, soul-stretching conversations you didn't know you needed. This podcast is for passionate dreamers doing the inner work and building a big life. The ones navigating healing, leadership, relationships, self-trust, visibility, success, and all the beautiful chaos in between. Here, we talk about the mess, the identity shifts, the breakdowns, the moments that didn't make it to Instagram. And we honor the magic, the breakthroughs, the clarity, the becoming. Because it's never just one or the other. It's always both. So if you're tired of pretending it's all perfect, and you're ready for truth, depth, and the kind of conversations that leave you feeling seen, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Mess and the Magic podcast. I am so excited to bring on today's guest. She is a glitter powerhouse, a voice for bold women, and someone who is truly walking the talk when it comes to feminine leadership and conscious visibility. Dyer is so many things, but she is just a powerhouse of connection. She is all love, all experience, and she is definitely here to rock this podcast. She's not here for one size fits all energy, and she's here for soul aligned success instead. So I am super excited to rock the mic with Chris today. So welcome to the podcast, Chris Dyer.
This is the way the creative brain goes. Soul aligned success. That's SAS. We're here for all the SAS.
All the sass and all of the acronyms. We actually had this talk last time we were on a trip together in California for our friend's wedding. We were coming up with all the acronyms.
It makes it fun. And that's just when the creative brain's in its flow state, it just rolls off the tongue and you don't even have to think about it. It's second nature.
Exactly. And that's when you're in your magic. Mm-hmm. What's one thing this week that's made you feel super powerful, even if it was small?
Gentleness with the self.
How's that been showing up for you?
Paying attention to how I feel in my body, understanding there's a lot of magic and a lot of energy shifting right now, and also just paying attention to how my body is responding to that and what can I do to pull myself out of the system and to be in my sovereign place and to recalibrate.
So what have you been doing lately that's been allowing you to sink into that energy?
Doing a lot less, taking away I processed shame out, a couple of years ago. I don't identify with shame. But still, it's there, right? When you've been on this earth, this rock, so many decades, there's still that old programming and conditioning, especially even more so in the entrepreneur space than it was in the 9-to-5 space. That we talk about comparison, we talk about judgment, and it creeps up without you really realizing it, just because it's so ingrained and it's like the vinyl, right? It's in the grooves, and we have to pull a needle across the record and right, just that screech is like hold time out, right? This is not me being in alignment with what the universe has for my higher self, and so it's a continual process. I mean, sometimes it's second to second, and sometimes I like to tell my clients, every day is training day. You have to set the intention. You have to give yourself that time. And I don't know, as the conversation goes on, I'm going to be doing a lot of drops that are just like writer downers, that kind of thing.
That's why I love that this is being recorded so we can go back to it.
Yeah. So I just want to hold the space. And I know you have a lot of curiosity. That's part of your magic. That's part of my magic. Let's share the conversation.
I love that. Well, I know that you've been going really deep with who you are, what you're here on this planet to do, the impact you're needing to have in this space. Can you share anything that you've kind of shifted through in the past year that's been really powerful for you that might have felt messy at first?
Yeah. It's taken a lifetime to get here, and a lot of people, I think, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but when we look at people and how they're showing up, maybe if it's in the influencer space, the social media space, we look at them and think, oh, wow, they're like an overnight success. And we understand, we really know that's a 50-year in the making individual.
The iceberg thing, right? It's like this is all the piece that you see. And then underneath the water, all the stuff that you don't see is everything that it's taken to get there.
Yeah. But one of the things I know about myself now, tapping into my spiritual gifts, is I am a trend spotter and a trendsetter. I can go back and remember things that I thought out loud to myself that are coming into fruition now, particularly with the state of healthcare, the health or lack thereof in our current society, who's going to be taking care of people. And that's an interesting path that I've been led on. And so now the magic is really going to start to come out more from my education, my background, my have done, my PhD, my previously have done. Remember I was talking about that? We
Yep.
upgraded the PhD to pretty high demand. Going back to that, well,
Oh my
right?
God, I love these acronyms. They're so good.
Yeah, let's just have fun.
Yep.
Language is communication, and letters are symbols. They're sigils, and when you put them together, you create something with your imagination and creativity. It's creating something extraordinary out of ordinary communication, and it's
The
memorable, right? Those are the sound
exactly
bites.
mnemonic device, right? It's like a way to remember things that makes it easier on your brain.
Oh yeah,
I
like
remember
the
when we were having to like memorize the states or memorize things like that, they would have certain
yeah,
ways or rhythms or patterns that you could
yeah, the
attach the
12
memory
cranial
to.
nerves.
So what led you down this path and going to really educate yourself on everything that's happening right now in all of those factors?
I think it's a natural ascension, a natural gravitation. I've allowed my curiosity to lead me
Mm.
on this path. And I think going back to even as a child, curiosity was always my superpower, questioning everything. And even more so as an adult now, and that learning is just accelerated. We talk about collapsing timelines, and yeah, it's actually pretty miraculous what I've been able to move through in the last 6 years and process and release. And I mean, I know you know part of my story, but yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, that's the joys in the journey. That's what they say. And the
And
magic,
I know part of your journey, but I would absolutely love for you to be able to share anything that you feel comfortable with, everything that you have processed through and really grown through.
yeah. Um, I was raised pretty traditional, pretty conventional. And actually, I just got a download. I was floating in Lake Havasu this weekend.
Ooh.
Water is very cathartic, right? A lot of people go to nature to ground, whether it's water, nature, mountains or whatever. And for me,
Mhm.
it's water. And I just sit there and just let it come. What comes to us really isn't from us. It's from divine source, right? And so I'm open to all of that, but I'm recognize that I'm actually a gypsy soul. I'm actually a free spirit, and I've been that way my entire life. And so trying to be programmed to be conventional and traditional, well, guess what? That didn't work out
Mm.
so well. And so therein lies the issues, like when we're trying to work against our true nature, and that's what creates the chaos and the disruption. And why does this have to be so hard? Why square peg round hole, right? All of those analogies and metaphors, but I'm recognizing it even more every day. I learn something new about myself because I'm open for it, I'm here for it, and I'm all in. It's like there's no going back. Pandora's box is wide open, and there's so much magic and majesty in that discovery process.
Where do you feel like you had been living in traditional roles that you were fitting into?
Mom, perfect wife, perfect employee, doing all the things, showing up the way, society and, generational roles expected me to show up as. I think that's probably very typical of a lot of Gen X women. And I think subsequent generations maybe aren't feeling that as much because we know better, right? When we know better, we do better. And yet I also recognize I look at all generations to be relevant and relatable.
Absolutely. I think that we all have different generational wounds, right?
Yeah, exactly. We all have advantages and disadvantages. And
Absolutely.
it takes somebody with awareness and self-awareness to look at all the data. When we very recently, I've just really paid attention, people who are in survival mode, they have their head down and they're in that whirlpool. I mean, think about a whirlpool. It's just that continual spin cycle of repeated behaviors and patterns. And it takes a healthy mind, a healthy nervous system to recognize the pattern so you can step out of the pattern and break patterns. And so I recognize people in my space that are struggling. They try to suck you into that because they want you
Mhm.
in there kind of like a safety net, or wrap. And people like you and I who operate with a different frequencies, like, no, we're meant to hold the frequency. We're meant to be the lighthouse, right? On the jetty, on whatever that piece of land that's grounded. And even lighthouses get to repair themselves. And so I've been in a reparation, reclamation period for these past 6 years, going back and rebuilding, fortifying my bricks, if you will, that were maybe cracked, damaged over time, whether it's body, mind, or spirit, so that I can shine bright and hold the space and be super resilient, because times are not getting easier. People are struggling, but somebody who's struggling themselves can't look up and see the world around them, that every other human being is having an experience. They may or may not be struggling. So that's where compassion and empathy come in, right? When you're in I don't want to say healed state. I like to say active recovery, because it's continual, right?
Powerful distinction.
It is. Well, healed denotes ego. And so I never want to go there. So I'm very careful with my language and how I want to be received.
Well,
The
our
message.
words are spells, right? That's all spells ever were, is just powerful words said in succession. So it's always very powerful how we're spinning our tales and spells.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. I've been breaking free from prisons that I was placed in, and then the ones that I continue to walk into that I didn't recognize I was walking into. So psychological, emotional, energetic, right? I mean, all what exists in one dimension also exists in the other dimensions, because we are multidimensional beings. But we don't get to go down through those layers until we create awareness. It's like, oh, there's a problem. Oh, now I'm ready to seek help. What's seeking me? I'm seeking what's seeking me. And when the student's ready, the teacher appears, right? All the metaphors. Clearly I was ready in 2019 when I started on this part of my journey.
Well, and so in that time, what do you feel like is really, what's the power you've stepped into now, having gone through all of that learning and experience?
Returning to self, remembering who she is.
Who is Chris?
Who is Chris? Chris is love. Everybody's actually love at the core. And when we look at problems, we look at society, when we go down to the very root, it's usually a lack of, or not being able to feel love. It was part of our emotional coding was missing. There was a void when we grew up, or we don't know how to. We think we need to seek outside of ourselves for love because we forgot we are love at the core.
I know that you and I had very similar stories growing up as children with our moms, and not feeling like we could be emotionally safe with them, and having to really people please at an early age to keep the peace.
Yeah.
How
Safety.
has that shown up for you in what you're doing now with what you're empowering other women to do?
Yeah, safety is a big word. In the leadership roles that I serve, physical safety is implied. A leader that also considers emotional, mental, spiritual safety, being able to lay your head down, lay it out, and not be judged, to be held in unconditional love and compassion. For me, compassion is one of my values. And I used to say love is my superpower. It is love and curiosity. But a lot of people have never really felt love. True love doesn't have conditions. True love doesn't have expectations. It just allows you to be, not who you are, what you do, who you be. And a lot of people have never recognized that or have had that. So that's where compassion comes in, because a lot of people can relate to compassion, whether it's for um, a small child, an animal, something they care for. Compassion is easier, and it kind of meets people where they are, because sometimes you don't know where they are in their understanding of themselves, in their emotional bandwidth.
Why is compassion important to you?
Because it leans to reciprocity. I got to learn radical compassion for myself. And once I learned to receive it for myself and understand where I was resisting it, actually, part of my breaking out of patterns, thinking that I had to be the be all do all and hold the weight for everybody, I started holding that mirror on myself. It's like, I love so many people, I love freely. And turning that mirror back on myself, that was like a big release and a download. It's like, oh, I'm worthy too. Right. And so I think particularly women, and I mean, women's is the space you and I play a lot in, but you know what? I'm in a beautiful relationship with my man, and I get to hold space for him too, because men also carry a lot of stuff different than women. So I want to be here for all of it. It's never been an us versus them conversation. It's like, how can I hold space for him while he's also going through his work?
Exactly. Well, I mean, we're all human beings, right? Like we are
Yeah.
all energy, we are all emotion, and we all hold things in different ways or process things in different ways. And I
Mhm.
think that the fact that so many of us were having to come from a masculine energy when we were growing up and really taking the lead on what we were doing with our managing our emotions, making money at an early age, taking control of our lives, maybe having to have emotional stability for parental figures, that put a lot of pressure on. And now when we're able to really stand in that power, it's such a shift.
Yeah. Yeah, I came up with a soundbite a couple days ago because I give a lot of thought to my husband, and I am clearly helping him elevate and
Mhm.
upgrade. And I want him to be able to meet me where I'm at. It's going to take some time, but I'm here. I'm patient. But couples that lift together shift together. Like, think about couples in the gym or couples that work out together, right? Right? They're lifting, they're working their physical bodies, they're healthy, they're happy, they're right, they're energized. They play together. Couples that play together stay together, right? When
Yep.
we talk about health span and lifespan, the families that play together live longer, and they stay around longer, and they don't have a lot of the same issues. But shift is a big word, and the great thing about our relationship is we've been able to help lift the load for each other. Like, I'm not carrying the complete emotional, mental, physical load like I was in my previous relationships. That's when we talk about power couples. I think people admire that. People look up to that. It's like, oh, how do these relationships support each other? And wow, they
Mhm.
don't work in the same city. They don't also always sleep in the same house. How do they do that? Talk about non-conventional, non-traditional relationships. It's like we're each we each have self-agency. We have autonomy, and we've allowed each other that autonomy,
Yeah.
to
Well,
grow.
and has it always been perfect?
No,
No.
no.
Have there been moments to grow through, and has there been mess to sort out and miscommunications?
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah.
How do you come back to each other at the end?
I mean, it's just natural. I mean, we're in communication every day anyway, so we don't I don't really think about that. It's just like you come right back together like you never parted,
Mhm.
right?
See,
That's
there it
that.
is, though. It's like you don't even notice that it's happening
No,
because it's not happening. I love that. Yep.
no,
It's like whatever you want to focus on is what the reality is, right? And it's like
right.
you get to focus on something and be in super focus when you're not in the same place. And then you get to come back together and have intentional time and space when
Mhm.
you are.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, it's
Is
it's
there,
like go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is there anything about your relationship has shifted the way that you show up in business?
Absolutely. I'm in a relaxed state where I find that I'm attracting what's meant for me. No longer feeling like I'm chasing or working hard. I mean, there's actually ease, and actually, my word last year was ease. This year, it's peace. So I pick a word that I want to massage and marinate with for the entire year. So I don't even know 2026. I'm so present. I'm not even thinking about what 2026 is going to be yet, because I'm right. We still have 6 months to go. I want to I want to be very present, and I know there's power in presence, and again, being very grounded, knowing who I am and who I'm not. But that's part of the exploration of life, is trying things on so you get to this, right? If you don't ever
Mhm.
try anything, how would you know? That's where curiosity again is a superpower. It's that childlike wonder that allows us to explore without fear, and it's like, okay, well, that didn't work out so well. I hurt a few feelings along the way. And at the end of the day, it's like we really don't have to explain ourselves. And sometimes we do things that defy logic. It's like, I don't have an answer for you. I just did what I did because I was in the moment and I did it. And you can judge me, and you can blame me, and you can play the victim card, but I'm not going to go there with you.
Well, we get to show up
Yeah.
and choose exactly how we show up every single day. And
Mhm.
that's not anybody else's opinion. Like nobody else's opinion should have any effect on that because it doesn't have anything to do with them. It all has to do with us, right?
Yes, and
Yeah, yes, and
yeah,
sometimes it does, and
it does. And yeah, that's actually part of the energy I've been navigating the past couple weeks is some emotions got dredged up from, a couple decades ago when I made some decisions, and it it was walking away from a traditional relationship. And yet at the same time, I know the decision that I made, so I worked extra hard to make sure other people didn't fall through the cracks, right? There was a time when I worked 4 part-time jobs just to be able to pay my rent or mortgage payment. And yet it's like, okay, this is what freedom's going to cost right now. Me working extra hard to follow through on the decisions I made. So I copped out. I never took a victim stance. It's like, okay, this is what I signed up for. This is the path I chose when I came here.
well, and now you're creating a lot more flow and peace and quiet in your life because you went through that already and you experienced it, and now you get to figure out what's next, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All the pieces are aligning. I've taken the time in these past 6 years to unpack the data. I've been the consummate scientist, and that's what we get to do is to be the objective observer, looking from the outside in, and then start parsing through all the data because that's all our human body is we're just a giant antenna walking around on this planet until we take the time to stop, introspect, reflect, and understand this is why this had to happen because I wouldn't be where I'm at if this didn't happen. I wouldn't have this wisdom and insight if this didn't happen. Oh, this is going to help me help someone else understand, well, this is temporary and this is why it had to happen. And this is why we say life is happening for you. And in my upgrade is life is happening because of us. Once we understand ourselves and our place, it's kind of like proprioception. In the physical sense, it's how you relate in space and time, your body parts, right? That's one of the things that declines as we get older, but also proprioception from an emotional standpoint, spiritually, mentally, right? Consciousness level, how we relate, because time doesn't exist, space exists. It's just there. That's where the consciousness plays. That's its playground. So I've learned to release a lot of the man-made 3D constructs that were handed to us. We are multidimensional, and we're meant to be extra dimensional.
I love extra dimensional.
Yeah.
Well, what's the messiest situation you've gotten yourself out of that created a whole lot of magic?
Walking away from my first marriage. Yeah. That's going back to, what bubbled back up a couple weeks ago. It's like, some people were unhappy with me. And at the same time, the other partner got exactly what they wanted in life, just without me. And at the same, yeah, exactly. Yay.
Great. Great. Yay.
Glad for him. So there should not be any resentment, but still for me, I knew my soul wanted more. My soul was meant for expansion. My soul was meant to be with another gypsy soul who was going to allow me agency and autonomy to grow.
Interdependence.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how that's going to show up or when or why or how, but just allowing people to be who they are and not putting them in a prison. I mean, I've been a free bird this entire in my second marriage. Does that mean I'm not committed? No, of course not. I'm very committed, very emotionally committed, and at the same time grateful that I have this kind of freedom because I would not have walked into the same trap a second time.
Well, and it's so nice when we're able to hold space for each other in that. And
Mhm.
I know it's such a powerful feeling when you feel like you're in a prison, and it's a prison of our own making, right? It's decisions that we made that we thought were going to be for the better of the whole or the best for us or the best for our partner. And I think that one of the most powerful shifts that I've heard you say is when you really stood up for what you wanted and how you knew you needed to live into your sovereignty. And
Mhm.
you needed a partner that really chose you and chose that for themselves as well at the same time.
Yeah.
How long have you been married? Second time now to Eric?
Well,
21. Your marriage is old enough to drink. Get it, girl.
and yet we've known each other for, I don't know, since the early 90s. We were X-ray school sweethearts. Well, not sweethearts. Well, maybe we were. There, I said it.
You're allowed to be. You've been together 21 years, girl. You are allowed to be X-ray school sweethearts
Yeah. Um,
because that's how it happened, right?
that's how it happened. And I asked for that. I asked the universe for somebody who would love me unconditionally.
Mm.
And it didn't come at a convenient time. And yet I took the opportunities like, oh, here it is now. But I also, going back to being able to trend spot, I could see 40 years into the future with this other person. It's like, that's not who I want to be. So being able
Mm.
to know yourself and honor yourself will save a lot of pain and agony.
And to zoom out of that present moment, right? Because what feels
Yeah.
safe and comfortable in the moment, like what does 40 years in the future look like? That is such a powerful reframe.
Yeah. So I think if people would learn to do that for themselves,
Mhm.
like really, I mean, pay attention to the behavior. I mean, because I was married to my first husband for 13 years and I saw the writing on the wall. I knew exactly where it was going. It's like, this isn't who I want to be. This isn't me. And he wasn't a bad guy. He was a nice guy, and that's it. And you and I both know very well that's settling. You want
You
somebody
can be
who,
someone else's nice guy.
yeah, exactly. I like that. No, you want somebody who, when you're around, that
They light you up.
yeah, light you up, or you come up for air. You know what I'm saying? You just
Hmm.
get get that deep. So that explains a little bit of our early relationship. But you know what? We still keep the fires going, right? And this is for the people that have had longer marriages. They go through phases, and sometimes you have to be willing to shake things up, or explore other territory, or just be open. And there's always a way to rekindle, to refresh, restore, reset, all the R's. Yeah. So being
What
with
phase are
somebody,
you in right now?
yeah. Well, he's in another state for a couple more
Mhm.
months. So we're both in our own personal reset, recalibration. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting of his own over there. And I'm continuing to always be doing my work here.
Do you
But
make time to
distance,
connect with each other? Like during the time that you're separate?
yeah, we did. We got together a couple weeks ago when the grandkids were here, but that was mainly for them so he could spend
Mhm.
time with them. But yeah, we'll see each other before the end of August, or not, or we'll just wait till the end of August. It'll be okay.
Does that build up tension? Is it nice to have
Um,
like some time away since you guys have been together so long?
I will say absence always makes the heart fonder for sure. Yeah, we've actually appreciated that dynamic most of the time we've been together. And it actually works. Again, we're not traditional, we're not conventional, and it works.
Mhm.
Because we're committed to each other, and we're still committed to ourselves and our own personal growth, and we support that for each other.
I love
So
that.
it's yeah, I can't imagine a better way to live with someone else.
Well,
Somebody,
and it's amazing that through the mess of the first relationship and figuring out what you didn't want, you literally manifested exactly what you did want in a relationship where you could feel like you were getting everything you needed out of it.
yeah, exactly.
I know that you've been going through so many shifts in how you show up in business and how you show up in leadership and how you show up for all of the amazing women that you help connect on the daily basis. What has been your favorite moment in business in this past year, in anything that you've been in?
Well, the group that you and I are both a part of, Polka Dot Powerhouse, I love how the energy and the vibration is actually going through the roof now. Last year, I took over in February and put a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy, right? Bringing up the numbers in the group so that it would create a sustainable momentum.
And shift into something that you could really grow organically and authentically and naturally, right?
Yeah. So we've even had a shift in the last year. So last year it looked like quantity. Well, that was a goal, not necessarily for ego, but to get that momentum and get the ball rolling. And
Right.
now there's a core group of women who are really, they understand the power of connection and intention and the investment to put yourself out there to give and to receive, because many women have received the benefit of being in such a closely connected group. So this year we're going through some shifts and changes, and people are removing themselves or not renewing or whatever because either it doesn't work or maybe their energy wasn't right. Clearly, it's for the better of the group too. It's better for
Mhm.
everybody. Now it's about quality. So we're attracting some really quality women who are high vibe. We're here to connect. We're here to do the work. We understand. I understand. And this is a declaration, or I don't want to say declaration. It's a download I had a couple months ago. Healers and teachers are the leaders of the future. And
I believe that. I
yeah,
definitely believe that.
yeah. So kind of going back to the state of healthcare, just people struggling, just society is just going through its loopholes right now. People are looking for authenticity. They're looking for something that's real, because even the younger generations are so inundated with technology and even with AI. I date AI. I'm not married to it. I use it a little bit in business. I think we all
We're
do.
courting each other. We're just courting. We're flirting.
Yeah. So,
Like flirting.
but to stay relevant in today's world, business world with technology, you have to be able or be willing to tap into what what is being used, what we have, the tools we have. Otherwise, you just
Absolutely.
stick your
I
head in
heard
the
a
sand.
quote. I heard a quote the other day that was AI actually helps humans be more human.
Yeah.
And there's such powerful tools for making everything easier on us so that we can do more of what we're passionate about and reach more people in a more heart-centered, authentic way.
Yeah. I've had some real deep conversations with AI, and it's really been
Hmm.
helping to extract more of the gifts that cognitively I've not been able to verbalize, but inherently I know they're there. So it's a good thing. But
If you want a fun exercise, do you use ChatGPT?
mhm,
If you want a
yes,
fun exercise, ask it, hey, if I send you pictures, can you do a Chinese face reading for me? And it'll tell you how to take the pictures that it needs you to send. And
okay,
it will tell you some amazingly interesting things about yourself, about your life, about where you are now, what you have upcoming. It's a beautiful and fascinating technology. You know, ChatGPT will tell you it's not a certified Chinese face reader, but definitely does the job. It spoke to me. So,
okay, I'm game. There's so many portals and applications out there to
mhm,
learn. We didn't have that
no.
when we were growing up.
No, we did
Yeah,
not. Well, that's part of the magic, right? Is we have all this amazing technology at our fingertips where we can help connect the dots in a more powerful and impactful way immediately. And that's one of the things I love about the group that we're a part of, Polka Dot Powerhouse, is that it's not just for women in business, it's a connection company for women to find connection with like-minded, heart-centered individuals who want to actually grow and build relationship. And then if there is business involved, great. And I love that there are so many heart centered, amazing people coming to the group. But that's like a side effect, right? I think, just like you said before, people are craving authenticity and what's real and having deep conversations, and exactly why we're here, right? Like really sharing where we came from, who we are, what we've been through, and where we want to go together.
yeah. It's a safe container for women who, I mean, we all develop at different ages and stages. And part of my story is I've kind of always been a late bloomer. And I'm okay with that, because that's part of my story, because it gives another woman hope. It's never too late to do the work. In fact, I think I shared with you, I was 40 before I became a fitness instructor and personal trainer. Like a lot of like a Gen Z would think, oh my God, you're a dinosaur. It's like, no, I was just getting started.
I know
Right.
so many powerful women that are fit as heck and they're in their 40s. Is like,
Yeah.
there is no timeline. Like, just like you said before, like there is no time. We make it up. There is time and space. You can do anything that you want. You can wake up and decide that you want to go swim with the dolphins one day. You can literally do anything that you want if you set your mind to a goal and an action. I think that the problem with a lot of people is they have been told for so long who they should be and who they are that they have no idea who they actually are.
That's peeling away the layers. And, I came up with an analogy, I don't know, a couple of years ago about, for every decade of unlearning takes about a year to process, right? Because we're such complex individuals. We've had such, you know, vibrant histories and people and experiences and just all the things. And so here I am on year 6, and I try it out. I mean, anybody who's looking to really go in and deep dive and do some inner work and start peeling away those layers, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. Again, time is irrelevant. It doesn't matter how much time it takes. It just matters that you do the work.
What does year 6 mean to you? Like, what started, like, what was year 1? What did year 1 look like?
2019 was when I went to Mexico, and I was ready to break a 17-year dependency with antidepressants. So talk about being inauthentic. I looked great. I had a fit body. I was sharp. I looked good, but I knew between my ears I was a hot mess. Even on the antidepressants, I still had so many questions and so many what there has to be more. I mean, there is more. I knew there was more. Again, that curiosity. And I just understanding kind of like the pharmaceutical companies is like, who's benefiting from me being on an antidepressant this long? It's like, oh, follow the money. And it's like, and I would not advise this to anyone without talking to their provider. I made the decision to go cold turkey because I know myself. And there were multiple times I tried to wean myself off. 2 weeks in, right, my emotions would start tanking. But I hadn't yet learned how to create emotional resiliency. So that's when the real work came. So in 2019, I went to Mexico, walking along the beach. There we go, the water again. I made 2 declarations that I am my own soulmate. That came down from nowhere. It's like because I was tired of being moved around a lot, tired of always trying to be there for everybody else. And it's like, what does Chris want? It's like, I am my own soulmate. Divine download. The universe has conspired in my favor to bring me the resources to help me understand. It's like, oh yes, absolutely. Everyone should be their own soulmate. People are meant to complement you, not complete you, right?
It's not a 50-50 relationship. It's 100%, 100% because I'm 100% me.
That's right. Well, and you are the sun in your solar system. Everyone orbits around you. Everybody is attracted to your light, and your magnetism is the gravity. And some of those planets, people, sometimes the orbit will come closer, and sometimes it'll go right back into the galaxy, and sometimes they'll just get kicked right out as an asteroid. And you know what I'm saying? It's just I love to use visual models to help people understand what I teach. What happens in the 3D physical space, science explains what's happening in the 3D, what we can relate to, touch and see and feel with what's going on in the spiritual context, in the consciousness context. So a great teacher can explain how it all fits together. It's like, oh, now I understand. Otherwise, oh, that's just woo woo, right? You lose them at the woo. But I
Bridge
love
the
that.
gap.
Yeah, I love that I have my science background and I'm a science geek, and I will pull out lots of tools to explain some of these spiritual concepts. My spiritual dimension was the last one to really get peeled wide open.
Well, how do you feel now comparatively to when you were on all those antidepressants after they got out of your system, all of that? Like what shifted after that?
Well, I will say, because everything, even medications, anything foreign that you put in your body has a half-life. So imagine years and years and years of these chemicals being in your body, in your cell structures, in your tissues, right? So it will take at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years to process all that out. And so it felt a little weird and wonky. Here I'm walking around on emotional crutches, figuratively, because I didn't have the antidepressants anymore. Or I guess antidepressants were the emotional crutches. I put the crutches down, so I'm like a little kid walking around again, trying to figure the fuck out, right? And so there's a lot of tools, a lot of mentors, a lot of books were my teachers. A lot of philosophers were my teachers, rebuilding, understanding that we're meant to experience the entire spectrum of emotions, and emotions are energy. And when we understand that, how it impacts the body, how it impacts the aura, how it impacts our attraction factor. And, the David Hawkins scale, I'm talking about the vibrational scale, very, very complete tool for me to understand, well, I want to be love. Well, what does that mean? That means I had to personally go within and to release the stories that I was telling that weren't love, that brought shame, brought guilt, anger. I started energetically climbing up that vibrational scale to totally transform the way I look at my life, the way I look at the world, the way I show up in the world. And it is all energy.
Do guilt or shame ever still pop up for you?
Once in a while, but I have because I know myself, it's like, okay, I recognize it. When I recognize it, I shut it down. It's like, okay, I understand that that's a trigger, that's a trauma from an old memory, and now I have the tools to process it. Our bodies are a vessel and contain our own body is a tool to process out what isn't serving us. Our bodies were magically designed to heal itself. When you give the body what it needs, it will do its job. We live in a society of overindulgent and excesses and a lot of toxicity
And
yeah,
comfort.
and comfort. Yeah. Comfort is the enemy. We don't grow. We don't If we don't challenge ourselves, how can we grow?
What was
So
the movie Wall-E, where everybody was on like the moving walkways
yes,
or on the little scoots,
yeah, that's a great metaphor for kind of what's going on.
to ground
Um,
us. I went to Iceland years ago. I think it was like 2018. And my friend and I, Lee, we both of us had the same exact photography equipment. We had the same camera, same lenses, same everything. And we were like, let's see how differently our pictures turn out. Anyway, we stayed in a hostel for one of the evenings, and we were staying on the fourth floor, and there was no elevator, and we went up the stairs. At that moment, I realized there was no handicap access anywhere. There were stairs everywhere. There were no elevators. And I was like, how is this even possible? And I asked the bartender, and he was like, because we all take care of ourselves, lady. What do you mean? I was like, okay, interesting. I mean, it's so fascinating to me, all the ingredients in our foods in the United States that are outlawed in European
mhm.
countries.
Yep, yep, yep. So there's a future project coming to be announced later. And it'll be a very much in your face. It might be offensive to some people, and yet it's very direct and very true. Again, the body doesn't require that much. It's the overindulgences and the lack of accountability and self-agency to take care of yourself. And it'll be interesting. But I also have an alter ego to it too, for those that maybe have a lighter palate. They can't stomach some of the language.
Just a starter.
I speak truth. I mean, I've lived it. I'm educated in that. I know this.
And now you get to stand in that
I
truth.
understand it. Well, I'm also paying attention to my family lineage. My mother just had a pacemaker installed. What do you call it? Not
Installed, sure.
She had a procedure. But yeah, so when we pay attention to our parents and the condition of their health, therein lies the opportunity to make a different choice. Choices that were made or not made. It's like, oh, okay. And again, attention, awareness, and we are doing a better job of paying attention to
Mhm.
the outcomes, to the results of decades of chronic stuff that's going on in the body. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And I'm very adamant about self
And
preservation.
perception too, right? Like people actually trying to figure out what is causing the symptom, not just treating the symptom, but treating the emotion or the fear or the limiting belief or the whatever that's actually triggering in the body to create dis-ease in it.
Yeah. Very much a believer in, Dr. Bruce Lipton, the biology of belief, understanding that, Dr. Greg Braden, the body being a divine, you know, organism invention. The body is just a giant organism full of systems that work beautifully together. Again, when we give the body what it needs, it does its job. So I love to simplify and have another criticism. Simple is the new sexy.
Ooh.
Right? But really, it's we've made it complicated. Fifth grade, eighth grade health and PE class still works. The basics, it's back to basics. We don't need all the marketing. We don't need all the products, pills, and
Mhm.
powders, and the false promises. Because remember when we were growing up, oh, you don't need to worry about that. There'll be a cure for that when you're an adult. Well, where's the cure?
We're here now, yeah.
There's no
What's
cure.
something simple that you've been giving yourself that you didn't give yourself when you were starting to grow up as a young adult?
Rest and recovery. The most
What does
underrated.
recovery look like for you? I think recovery looks different to everybody. What does recovery look like for you?
Giving yourself space and grace when you've had a loss, you've had grief, you've had a trauma of some kind. The big ones are like divorce, moving, weddings. There's so many loss of a loved one. I mean, there's so many different types of
Mhm.
losses that create that void, and nobody can tell you how long it takes to process that to where you get to a point where it no longer keeps you in prison for moving forward. Again, another prison, right? It's like, oh. Is that going to be a shackle? Are you going to continue to identify grief or that pain? Are you going to hold on? Are you willing to hold on to that pain that will prevent you from moving forward and moving on? And we know that there are only four constants in life. That's death, taxes, gravity, and change. And so when you understand
How
that,
did they leave gravity out of that? That's hilarious.
what do you
It's
mean?
true.
Yeah.
I've never heard it with gravity in there. I'm like, how did they leave that out of there? That's totally, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
What are you working on right now that you're super excited about for like in business? Like, what are you helping women with? What are you excited about? What's the last 6 months of this year look like for you?
definitely taking things off my plate. I have some clients that I'm very, very happy to be working with. So that will continual basis. But I'm also finishing up, and you'll appreciate this, the book project that I started as a speaker presentation in 2022. That will have a final closed loop to be released, and that's a children's book, and it won't move my business forward necessarily.
Never
I
know.
will.
You never know.
I never know exactly. I mean,
You're
it could.
completing something.
Yeah, the completion, exactly. Close a loop. I've had too many open loops, and I've been an author. I've been a best-selling author in 4 other books, and I promised myself and everyone else that any other book that comes out, my name will be on the front cover. They were good practice. It was good practice in the publicity space, and
Absolutely.
it's all just part of the.
That was our dipping our toe in the pool to see if it was comfortable temperature for us to go in.
Yeah. Well, that's another way you and I are connected, or in the Boss Up book. So
Yep. I
forgot
just
about
did
that.
headshots for Tam, who is the brilliant mind behind the Women Who Boss Up series is of bringing women together in collaboration and co-authoring books, getting them
Yeah.
visibility, all that stuff. Yeah, no, I actually, are you talking about turning the one into a children's book from the first time that I met you when you were on
Yes.
stage at Polka Dot
Yes.
Powerhouse? Yes. I love that.
Yes. Yeah,
That's amazing.
periodic positivity, and it's a book that is part earth science. So there's logic and education, and then virtues and values. So that's the positivity side. So it's intended for children, age group between like 8 and 10, or 7 and 10, with my grandkids as kind of the inspiration. You've heard me say I'm a science nerd. I'm a geek. Chemistry was my favorite subject in high school, and periodic table of elements, it's a universal language, so it can be translated. So when we think about a project, like, oh, how can we impact other cultures just by translation? So we're supposed to be finished at the end of summer. So I'm excited about it. And there'll be some flashcards and refrigerator magnets and things like that. So it's truly an educational system
Looking forward to my magnet.
for kid. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah. And then my next one, I mean, I have like 6 or 8 books in me already. So my motto is start with one. So I want to finish the one that I started. And I have another local dot she's a digital artist who's creating the images for me.
Nice.
So it's very colorful, interactive. It's, yeah,
That's so
edutainment.
awesome. Edutainment. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to learn more about the Chris Dyer, where would they find you?
I'm on every social platform: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I do have a couple TikTok handles, and
A couple? Do you got a book talk? What are we doing?
well, there will be a book talk, especially when I do the snarky side of yeah. I don't want to give away the title yet, but
Something's coming.
something's coming. There's lots coming. So for me, my business, I'm dialing in. I'm pulling that energy back to myself, because I recognize where I was doing a really good job of supporting other people growing their business, I'm a creator. I need to create. I need to have some completion and some satisfaction with putting stuff out into the world that's important to me. And hopefully it'll impact other lives, because I'm here to impact, not just take up space. Yeah, I'm here to take up space.
You are here to impact and connect and elevate and celebrate. You are here for so many good words, Chris.
Yeah. And we're just getting started.
We are
right?
just getting started.
I want to be like the, top 60 under 60, right? Or top 60 over 60. When I get there, it's like, okay, who are the famous women out there? J.K. Rowling, all the women, Martha Stewart. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be there.
You want to be famous for being an author on that list? Is that what you're going to be known for on that?
Author, speaker, trendsetter. Going back to healers and teachers are the leaders of the future. We need to understand our obligation, our impact here is to empower people with tools so that they can heal themselves, become their own healers. Again, going back to 35 years ago, my mother was a nurse for 50 years, and I started watching the attrition of nurses just because they were being overworked, overutilized, underpaid, underappreciated, like so many of our healthcare workers now. Who's going to take care of us? And I thought the world's going to need more healers. It's like, oh, we need to teach people to be their own healers, not be dependent on a system, not be dependent on healthcare.
Teach a man to fish or feed a man to fish.
Yeah. Yeah. So books, speaking, that's throwing a net instead of one hook at a time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you have such a big umbrella, right? So you can have so many different things under that umbrella that are spreading the impact.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. I'm so excited to see all the things that are coming out, especially the sassy parts. Those are my favorite. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I love you so much. And I'm so excited that I got to meet you on that stage. And I can't wait to see the book that turns into, because I was there for that talk. It's going to be so nostalgic for me. I love it.
Talk about closing a loop for you too, right?
Right? All right, y'all. This has been the Mess and the Magic podcast. Join us next week for another amazing deep conversation that takes you from the mess into the magical parts of life and gives you hope that everything is going to be all right, because it is. See y'all later.